Okay, let's unpack this. Sometimes, the most insightful deep dives, they really come from the most unexpected places.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're taking a closer look at what might seem like a simple, maybe even a silly conversation, but one that holds surprising value, especially for anyone curious about language and culture.
Yeah, what's truly intriguing here is how this specific type of content, an interview with a child can actually serve as a unique eight-way.
Their gateway.
Yeah, for language acquisition and cultural understanding. Our mission today is really to dig into this source, pull out the key insights, and sort of understand its place within a much broader learning platform.
Okay, so the specific source material, we're looking at excerpts from AE 1369 interview, a silly conversation with my son Noah Smithson, Aussie English.
That's the one.
Right, and this deep dive centers on an interview where the host of Aussie English, he sits down with his son Noah. It's the school holidays, and apparently Noah was curious about what his dad actually does.
Which is a great starting point for, authentic interaction.
Definitely. And when we say silly conversation, it really is meant in the best way.
Yeah.
Noah's first podcast interview, it covers some really delightful stuff.
Like what?
Well, he talks about his humongous paper chain, apparently. His epic potato person art project.
Huh, okay. Classic kid stuff.
Totally. And his definitive choice Skittles if he could only eat one food forever.
A man of taste.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
You also get his cheeky answers about wanting to fly, his idea for a crazy new animal, and, what he'd hypothetically do with a pile of money.
Right.
It's exactly that kind of unscripted, spontaneous chat. Genuinely makes you smile.
Mm.
But honestly, when I first heard silly conversation with a child for like an advanced language platform, my eyebrows definitely went up.
I can see why.
Beyond just being charming, what's the actual pedagogical magic happening here? What's the learning value?
That's a great question, and it's delightfully counterintuitive, isn't it? The source actually calls this interview a cracker.
Which is Aussie slang for?
For excellent, yeah, top notch. A cracker resource for listeners wanting to tune their ears specifically to a little kid's Aussie accent.
Awesome.
So it provides both, a laugh and actual practical listening practice. But the deeper value, I think, lies in how unfiltered it is and how accessible.
Accessible how?
Well, a child's language, while it's completely authentic, often uses simpler sentence structures, right?
Yeah.
And higher frequency vocabulary.
Okay, yeah. Less complex stuff to wade through.
Exactly. That significantly reduces the cognitive load for the learner. They can focus less on deciphering tricky grammar and more on really vital elements like pronunciation, intonation patterns, the natural rhythm of speech.
I see.
It's almost like a simplified but still high-fidelity linguistic training ground. It lets you absorb those crucial, often overlooked nuances of an accent.
That makes so much sense. So it's not just natural, it's sort of strategically natural. It simplifies the entry point into authentic speech. Fascinating how those seemingly innocent chats can be so potent. But is this just a charming one-off? Or is this silly conversation actually part of a bigger strategy for Aussie English? How does it fit into their whole mission?
Oh, absolutely. Part of a much larger initiative, definitely. The Aussie English platform itself, it's a podcast and learning environment. Produced and published down in Ocean Grove, Victoria, Australia.
Right.
And its core mission, it really goes beyond just teaching grammar rules. It's designed to help advanced English students not just learn English, but to truly live it.
Live it? How so?
By immersing themselves in Australian English and also its unique culture and history. So this interview with Noah, then, it becomes a perfect example of the kind of real-world, authentic content they champion. It fits right in.
Gotcha. So it's about full immersion, not just, learning lists of words.
Precisely.
And to support that kind of deep immersion, they must offer quite a range of resources, I imagine. What are some of the key tools or materials they have beyond the podcast? I think I saw mention of a book, something about slang.
Yes, absolutely. That's a key one. The book, 1001 Australian Slang Words. And it was specifically co-created with ESL learners in mind, English as a second language learners.
Oh,
So it serves as a pretty essential guide to understanding and, crucially, using authentic Aussie slang, which makes it much easier for users to, connect with locals and genuinely understand the culture.
That makes sense. Slang can be a huge barrier.
It really can. But it goes beyond just content like the book. The platform provides a whole suite of practical tools, things designed to enhance the learning experience, especially for, raw, spontaneous conversations like Noah's.
Okay, tell me more about those tools. Because listening to natural speech, even from a kid, can be really fast sometimes. How do they actually help a listener break it down and absorb what they're hearing?
That's an excellent point. So imagine you're listening to Noah, right? And he says something quickly or uses an idiom you don't quite catch.
Yeah, happens all the time.
Well, the free podcast player isn't just for passive listening, it's more like a workbench. It lets you fast forward, rewind, and crucially, adjust the audio speed.
Speed control.
That's huge.
It's invaluable, yeah.
Yeah.
For breaking down those rapid-fire colloquialisms or specific intonation patterns you hear in natural speech, it lets you replay sections until you really get the hang of them.
Okay.
And then for even deeper engagement, they have their premium podcast membership that gives instant access to the premium podcast player, which comes with downloadable transcripts.
Oh, transcripts are essential for this kind of work.
Totally. Transcripts, audio files, videos for episodes too, plus access to their huge back catalog, over 900 podcast episodes, including member-only stuff and video lessons. It's really about giving you control over how you learn.
That level of granular control over the audio plus the transcripts, that sounds incredibly helpful for advanced learners trying to perfect their ear. Beyond the player and the premium content, are there also more sort of structured learning paths or courses within Aussie English to guide people? There certainly are, yeah. They offer, for instance, a 5-day free English course. It's specifically designed to teach effective study methods using podcasts, aiming to help you level up your English quickly.
Okay, practical methods.
Exactly. And additionally, they have specific Aussie English courses. These focus on things like improving English pronunciation, mastering phrasal verbs, always tricky, enhancing spoken English generally, and honing listening skills.
Wow, quite comprehensive.
It is. And all of this is kind of neatly tied together with their official Aussie English app as well. So the whole ecosystem is accessible right there, on your phone or tablet.
So it's really not just a podcast, is it? It's truly a comprehensive language and culture immersion program.
That's a good way to put it.
And it seems they cover a huge range of topics, not just these silly conversations, although now we know the hidden value there.
Exactly right. This diverse ecosystem provides loads of different avenues for immersion. I mean, you look at the recent episodes, they feature different types of deep dives. Discussions on Australian norms, top 10 Aussie movies, something about an Aussie farmer breeding super sheep.
Super sheep, okay.
Yeah. Tips on Aussie TV series to watch, even advice on how can I change my accent from American to Aussie.
Interesting.
So it really demonstrates a truly holistic approach. It goes far beyond just vocabulary or grammar. It aims for a full understanding of the Australian way of life, linguistically and culturally.
So what does this all mean for you listening in?
Well, our deep dive into what seemed like just a silly conversation with a child, it actually reveals that authentic language acquisition really thrives on diverse, engaging content. And it shows us that platforms like Aussie English aren't just providing lessons. They're actually building a rich, comprehensive environment for mastering not just a language, but truly living a culture. And that brings us, I think, to a compelling question for you to consider. How might seeking out these unique, authentic language interactions, even those as seemingly simple as, a child's spontaneous chatter, how might that transform your own approach to learning? How could it help you truly live the language you're studying?